What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I have what remains from the BioShock batches of color that I created, and I have a cold pot of water here with some citric acid in it. The citric acid didn't dissolve all the way into the cold water, so just ignore that. But yeah, I have we have a lot that we're going to tackle today. So starting with this yarn that I caked up, I have the middle you can see is like a regular cake and it's pretty tight, and then the outside I made it intentionally loose so that way I would have like some resist in the middle and then hopefully some like good color penetration on the outside. Yeah, this is a technique that I kind of wanted to give a try to, and I am pretty stoked to see how it's going to turn out. So I think I'm going to use one of these. I have like a blue-green mixture, a yellow mixture, and a pink mixture. And since I have like the most of the pink mixture and then just like a little bit of the other two, I will probably use the pink for this cake for the most part. But yeah, because I have a lot of that left. This was all my first attempt at creating dye stock solutions. I was trying to do 1% of each, and yeah. Didn't really end up using much of the pink from the BioShock, if you'll remember, so I will probably end up doing that one, but I'm really excited to see how this one comes out. So we're going to be starting with a cold pot of water, and I'm just going to add my color to it. So I added some of the blue-green mixture to kind of make like a purplish color, and then I'm going to go in with this pink mixture and see how that see what kind of color we get. Okay, so here we are, and we have this beautiful purple pink color happening, and I actually did quite a bit of color because I have another technique I want to do, and I think I'm going to dip dye it into the same pot of water with the same color, so we'll see how that goes. But first we're going to start with this cake yarn, and I'm hoping by starting with cold water I will get like better penetration into the cake. So I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna put the cake into the water and let it start to absorb that color. And it's a really beautiful color. You can see on the white yarn how pretty it is. And I didn't want to get my hands covered in dye, so I went and grabbed some gloves and then pushed it all the way in and let it absorb all that color. But yeah, there it is. You can see the bubbles as it sinks to the bottom, and beautiful color. I'm really excited to see how it works out. But yeah, so now I just turned on the heat and let it come up to a steam, not quite a boil, but just below it. And then yeah, I came back and checked on it once I heard the steam going. And here it is. Once it's up to temp, you can see that it's starting to fall apart already. I'm kind of nervous. I'm not excited for that. I'm hoping that I can keep it somewhat, together. That's like the one thing I'm really nervous about. But anyways, I left it for about another 20 to 30 minutes, and then I came back and I realized that, I decided that the color was deep enough. I wanted to make sure that it had enough to like penetrate, and oh, look at that beautiful purple. I wanted to make sure it had enough time to kind of penetrate into the skein itself, and then I went ahead and pulled it out and tried to keep it together as much as I could. But yeah, lots of color left in the pot, really pretty. And while this was sitting and dyeing, soaking up the dye, just going to put it over here in my steamer pan to rest. While it was soaking up the dye, I was over creating these mini skeins for a technique that I saw another YouTuber do, Chemknits. You should go check her out. She's really cool. She has a lot of good advice for learning to dye yarn. But anyway, so she created this chain of mini skeins. So I went ahead and skeined up some minis, and I wanted to do it myself because the resist that it does is so pretty. It's like lightning, like beautiful just strikes of white across the color. It's so pretty, and I'm so excited to see this worked up. And I will say one of the things I'm the worst at is dip dyeing. I am so impatient, and I do not want to wait for it to get as light as I should. So That's definitely one of my flaws. But anyways, we've achieved a light blue now. So I added back in the yarn cake, and I'm going to leave this and the chains into the pot. I turn the pot off. I think what's left in there is probably just a mixture of this blue that didn't quite absorb yet. But yeah, so I turned off the pot, and I'm just going to let these guys cool down completely in here and hopefully exhaust the remainder of that color. And while I let these guys exhaust, I went ahead and skeined up a couple more minis for another project that I wanted to do. So yeah, you can see that the beautiful blue left in the pot and the beautiful purples in this mini skein. Yeah, I am so excited to see those dry. And here it is once it has exhausted completely. You can see that the water is clear, and these beautiful skeins have plenty of color in them, so I'm really excited to see that. And then there are those other minis that I went ahead and caked up. I think actually there's a touch of blue left in the pot, it looks like. So yeah, okay, just kidding, there's a touch of blue left. But anyways, look at that color. Oh, you can see some of the white. So pretty. I'm so excited to see these all dried up. Yeah, look at that white. Oh, it's so, like, if you want to try out this chain technique, you absolutely should. And unfortunately, my cake yarn was really falling apart there, so yeah. And for my mini skeins, I'm going to go in with the remainder of this blue-green mixture and then some of the yellow to really get more of a green color. So for this, this is going to be a really interesting technique. I am starting with these mini skeins, and I'm going to be adding in one at a time. And I'm going to be timing it, so I'm going to start with one, I'm going to add it in, I'm going to wait 5 minutes, then I'm going to add in another, wait 5 minutes, add in another, and, just kind of repeat that process. But then I'm also going to not mix them in. I'm going to throw them into a hot pot with plenty of acid, and yeah, it's going to create like this really weird gradient, variegated style. Like I want gradient, I want variegated, I want just all the things. So it's a really interesting technique, but yeah. So I added in my blue and my yellow, and now I'm going to start adding in my first skein. And I also added in a touch of true black to darken it up just a little bit to get this really pretty like green color. And here I am with the first skein, and I think for the first 5 skeins I actually did 3 minutes between each one, and then for the last 5 skeins I did 5 minutes. So yeah, but the first skein's in. Here goes in the second skein. Look at that beautiful dark like blue green. Oh, so pretty. And I did mix these guys in, and then the third skein, the fourth skein, which I didn't even really like unskein, so then I was like, oh, I probably should at least dunk it in. And then the 5th skein. Now from here I had 5 skeins left, and I was really liking how it was turning out, so I was just kind of throwing them in, leaving some of them kind of twisted up still. So that was skein 6, 7, 8. Here's skein 9. And you can see that the pot is kind of clearing of the color now. There's like just this really light blue left, which is really cool. And yeah, it's not a lot of color left in there, so it was like perfectly timed. And then I am just going to add in my final skein right here. This is skein number 10. And you can see that there's just really not a lot left in there. So for this, I threw it in, and then I went ahead and gave the pot a really good stir, and kind of, any of them that were still twisted or whatever, I went ahead and untwist them, make sure that they at least got some color. And this was a big mistake. Do not just swirl a ton of mini skeins in a pot, because let me tell you, you will have a mess that you cannot untangle, and it will take you hours. And yeah, I made a huge mistake doing this, but anyways, lesson learned, don't ever do that. And then right here, I added in some more yellow to add in more depth, more variegation, and then also turn a little more green. So yeah, these came out really wild. I'm so happy with how they came out. I already casted on the project with them. So excited for this. And here is everything, not quite dry. Some of it's still just a touch wet, but most everything else is dry. I didn't get any footage of me washing them because, to be perfectly honest with you, the amount of untangling it took for each and every one of these was outrageous. I definitely was not careful about tangling when it came to this project. But yeah, so here are the purple chains and these beautiful little white patches that they created with the resists, and it came out even better than I could have hoped for. And then these are the green gradient mini variegated whatever they are yarns. This one wet almost looks black, like it's so dark, but it is green, I promise you. And then like all these other ones, I wish I had tagged them so that I knew which one was the first to which one was the last, because I did not do that. And yeah, I kind of just have to go off of color at this point. But yeah, these are really pretty. This one came out really pretty. It's definitely not my favorite shade of blue, but not bad at all. Now this is the cake yarn, and I am beyond thrilled and ecstatic with how this one came out. I can't even process how beautiful this is. All the different shades of purple that this has is outrageously cool. It's so pretty, and to be honest, the drastic like change in color almost makes it look like it's two skeins, like one on top of the other. It doesn't even look like one skein. It's so crazy to me how this one came out. And it actually gave me some ideas on perhaps ways that I could not necessarily reproduce this effect, obviously, because it wouldn't be half and half, but to do a dye technique that might give me some different dip dye results. So yeah, I'm really excited how that turned out. And then these are just, I didn't even think to get any footage of these. These were something that I dyed up for my person. He wanted a hat and glove set. And when I asked him what he wanted, he was like, black, gray, and white. And I was like, are you for real? Like, that's all you want? And he was like, yeah. So all I had was my true black. So I just did the best that I could with that, did some speckles, did some splotches. But I think these came out really cool. I'm actually kind of excited to see how they like knit up. I was kind of snooty about it at first. I was like, that's all you want. But honestly, looking at them, they're pretty cool. And I feel kind of bad because they're probably going to be real cool. But yeah, so back to this one. I'm so sorry, but I love this one so much. I don't even know what I can say about it. It's so pretty. I don't even know what I'm gonna make with it. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what you would make with this. It's so pretty. So yeah. Anyways, that is all of the yarn. I had a very productive day today. Yeah. And here I am just like comparing it with a plain skein that I have. I'm trying to figure out what even I want to test, but I think if I did like the inner side of a skein, like if I could figure out which was the inner side, which was the outer side, and like separate them and dip dyed it that way. I don't know. It's a technique that I think I'm going to explore, so be sure to check out my next video for that. But yeah, I'm gonna see what I can create with that. So here are the minis dried and skeined up. This is, of course, the end piece that got dipped last, and then just kind of gradient from there. But yeah, this looks almost like Chemknits Breaking Violet color, like it's just got those blues and purples. But then also we have like these deeper purples and these resists with like little bits of blue, and oh, I don't know, these are really pretty. These are really cool, and I don't know what I'm gonna make with them, but I actually kind of dig those. And then this is the skeined up fall dye technique, whatever. But yeah, this is my favorite thing I've ever created. 100%. Like, I can't. But yeah, so those are those. And then here are the gradient green blue mini skeins. This is the darkest one. It kind of almost looks black, but I promise you it's green. It's just like such a deep, dark green that, yeah. But it's really pretty. And then I did my best to try and line them up, and I think I more or less got it to, you know, what was first to last. Still not 100% sure. I do regret not like tagging them, but I'll know for the future to make sure that I do tag them. But yeah, these came out so cool. These are exactly what I wanted, and I am already knitting up with them, and I'm so happy. So thank you for joining me, and I hope I see you guys here next time for my new experiment. And yeah, have yourselves a wonderful day.